So in the last video, we worked on the login REST API endpoint, and now it's time to integrate with our Flutter app. Before I will start writing any code, I just want your help to just like the video, share the video and subscribe the channel. It will motivate me to make more videos. Okay, so let's start writing the code. And in the last video when we worked on the Flutter app, then the bottom sheet we put inside the categories tab. Now we have to put inside this login or orders. Okay, so whenever we will click on this button, then we have to open that bottom sheet. So this is a login bottom sheet which we created in one of the videos. And what I will do, let's go on a profile.dart file. Here what we are doing, that we are having the login and sign up button, right? So here we have the login and sign up button, and here we have the on press. Okay, so in the on press only, we will going to just open the bottom sheet. So first let me just go on this profile item in order. If I will go on a profile item, we have to open the login bottom sheet on clicking on the orders as well. So this profile item as of now is not clickable. So what I will do, I will make it clickable. I will wrap this thing with the inkwell. Okay, we have to wrap it with the inkwell, and we have to handle the on tab. Okay, and that on tab, I wanted to send this on tab method from here itself. Okay, so I'm going to create a function, a final function that will be a on tab, and we need to add it here, this dot on tab, and of course it can be optional, and that on tab we need to use it over here. Okay, so it will be like this. Then the issue is gone. Okay, now I need to just restart the whole thing. And if I will go on a profile page, when I will click on orders, okay, so this is our orders item. So here we have one parameter called on tab. So here actually I wanted to open the get dot bottom sheet. Actually we need to import the get dot bottom sheet, and here we have to provide the bottom sheet we just created. So let me use it here. Import the bottom sheet. I guess it should not give an error. Why it is giving an error? The values in a const lens. Oh, it is const. It should not be a const as of now. Why they are doing a linting issue, I don't know. And yeah, so if I will click on our orders, then that bottom sheet is now open. Okay, which means everything is working fine. Now we have to just work on this cross button as well, that we haven't addressed the cross button. So after clicking on a cross button, we have to close the bottom sheet as well. So if I will go on the login bottom sheet code, so here we have the icon button, and here we just have to use the get dot back. That's it. So if I will click on this button, then bottom sheet will be gone. Okay, now let's think about this login. So we have to do the same thing as we did. Okay, so in our profile without login, what we did that in a profile item, we are opening the bottom sheet. So what I will do the same thing over here in on page. But yeah, if you remember that we created this solid button, and the solid button have the same functionality as we have here, I mean same kind of UI. Only thing is that instead of using this elevated button, we have to use that solid button. And just remember, we have to minus the 210 from the total width of the screen. So just remember that thing, because we already have one widget which is doing the same thing. Why we need to write the code? Okay, so we have to pass the text, and text will going to be a log in slash sign up, and I'm going to hit the save. And let's go on a solid button. And in the solid button we need two things. We need on tab. Okay, this dot on tab, so we have to create a final function on tab, or on press will be the good name for this button, on press. Okay, and the second thing will going to be final width. I am just using the naming convention minus width. It will going to be a double. Okay, and it can be also optional, and we have to use this thing minus width. Remember I told you to remember the minus 210 which we are doing over here in a profile without login page, because here in a width I just wanted to minus that thing. So okay, we have to use int, or we have another type num. Okay, we have num. The argument type num can't be assigned to the parameter type num. Okay, we can do one thing, that we will going to make it as a required, and in the solid button, whenever we are using the solid button, we have to provide the minus width. Here we have to use the minus width as a 210, and here in a bottom sheet we are using the solid button, so here we have to provide the minus width as a 0. Minus width as a 0. Okay, that's good. And let's go on the solid button again, and the on press we're going to provide like this. Okay, so in a profile without login, so here where we have that, here we have, so it will going to take another on press method, and this on press will be the same like we have here, get bottom sheet log bottom sheet. Okay, so yeah, this is a kind of setting up the thing. So whenever we will click on a login button, the bottom sheet will going to open, and we need to the text is kind of here is different than this text. If I will refresh the app, login, okay, we will think that why it is coming, this continue is color black. Why? Here we have to set up the color as well. So button color is already there. The text color, we need to pass the text color as well, or we can hard code as color as of now, colors dot white. If I will open it again, oh, that color should be here in the text style. Yeah, okay. So okay, so the color is also added. Earlier it was kind of black, I don't know why. And now we can remove this thing from the categories. So if I will go on a categories, as of now, instead of returning this thing, let's return the text only. Categories. Okay, just be there. Okay, and all the things are kind of set. Now we have to do one thing is when we click on this login, this continue button, we have to make the API call, right? So to make an API call, we need to set up something. Okay, we need to set up the network handler, and we have to use the HTTP package. Also, when we hit the API, we will get back a token as well. So we need to store that token as well. Okay, so we require two kind of packages. The first package will be HTTP package, and the second package will going to be Flutter secure storage. Okay, so let's go on the browser. Let's search the Flutter HTTP. Okay, this package we will need. So let me add this package on pubspec.yaml file. Okay, second package will going to be secure storage, Flutter secure storage package to store the JWT token, and hit the Ctrl S. The Flutter pub-get will run and install the dependencies on our project. Now the next thing I wanted to discuss is let's create a service folder. Okay, so as of now we have the feature folder and foundation folder. I'm going to create a new folder, that is a service folder, and in the service folder I'm going to put the service related code. Service related code means all the network layer code. Okay, so that thing we will going to put inside here. So service, and in the service the first thing I'm going to create is the network handler, and in the network handler only we are going to put all the HTTP related code. Okay, so we will going to need a base network handler class, and in the base network handler class we will going to create some custom functions. Okay, and let me just show you, then you will get an idea. So it will going to be a class network handler. Okay, the first thing we will going to do is we have to work on the get method and the post method. So let's create a static post method. Okay, the return type of this post method will going to be future. We can put it as a void as of now, and it will be a post method, and the next method we will going to discuss is the static build URL method. Okay, and that's it. Okay, I will explain all the thing one by one. So let's talk about the post method first. So we have to make a HTTP post request to the backend, right? And for that we need to use the HTTP package which we just imported. Okay, so if I will go here, so we need to import the HTTP package first. Okay, let's do it one by one. We are setting up the network handler class, and here in a post method, as I told that we have to get the, we have to send the body to the backend, right? So we need to get a body, and what will be the type of body? Let me just use a var as of now, and then we have to create an instance of our HTTP package which we just imported. The instance which we are creating is the client of the HTTP dot client. Okay, so it is a kind of a static client instance, and with help of this client instance we will going to make a HTTP post. Okay, so it will be a var response and we have to make the method as async and await, because we are making a network request and it's a type of async and await. Okay, and response. Okay, we have to provide the URL as well. So that's why I have created a new method called build URL. Okay, why I have created? Because I don't want it to get the exact URL from the parameter of this method. I just wanted to get the endpoint. Okay, so endpoint is a portion which we have after this base URL. Okay, so base URL is basically the domain name along with the port, like we have a google.com or we have a amazon.com. that is a base URL. Okay, and the endpoint is like /login or /order. Okay, so basically when we call this HTTP post, this post method which we just created, then we will just send the endpoint. Okay, and now this build URL method will going to create the actual URL. Okay, so it will be like that. We already have the host. Okay, so we will going to create a string host, and we will going to fix the host. So for our case, the host will going to be this, the IP address along with the port. Okay, and we have to just concatenate this host with the endpoint. Okay, why I'm creating this thing? Because generally in the main startup or main project we have multiple hosts. This host may be a development host, like development based URL. Like if we are working on a dev, then we have a different server URL. Okay, when we work on a production, then the host server URL will be different, or in a test host server URL will be different, but the endpoint will going to be the same. That's why I have created this host. Okay, and here we will going to use the API path equal to the host URL plus the endpoint. So this will also get a endpoint. So we are setting up the thing, right? So just bear me. Okay, and finally we will going to return URI.parse with this API path. Okay, so whenever we will use this build URL, so we will use like this build URL, and we will send the endpoint, and it will going to generate the actual URL along with the with the endpoint and with the base URL. Okay, so we are making a post request, and we had to provide the actual HTTP post endpoint with the base URL, and also we had to send the body, as you know. Okay, so body, as you can see here, it's a kind of a JSON. Okay, but in a Flutter we don't have a JSON kind of structure, we have a map. Okay, so this body will going to be a map, string, or what we can say, let's put the var as of now, and we have to send the body as well here. Okay, so this is a body, and once we will make the API call, we will get a response, and for the response we will get a JSON string kind of response. Okay, so, and we will get a token as well. Yeah, so what we have to do, that we have to store the token, and for that I already told you that we are using the Flutter secure storage. Okay, so here after receiving a token, we need to store that token in the Flutter secure storage. For that also I'm going to make another method, that will be a static void store token. So with help of this method I'm going to store the token on the Flutter secure storage, and let me create first I will going to import the Flutter secure storage in this network handler, and the next thing will going to be a create an instance of the Flutter secure storage. Okay, so we're going to create a Flutter secure storage instance, and after creating the Flutter secure storage instance, we will going to store it the token with help of this method. It will be again a sync and await type, because we are performing the IO operation. So maybe this video is not making sense, but it is an initial setup for the network handler class. Okay, and it is really important to set up the network handler, because we don't want it to write the post method again and again or anywhere in our app. Okay, so we just have to for our case we will just going to invoke this post method, and that's it. So here we have to provide the key will going to be a token, and the value we will going to get, that will be a token. You will get a clear picture once I will once I will use it in here in a post call. Okay, when we make a post call, then you will get a clear picture. It is instance member can't be accessed from the static method, so we have to make this thing as a static as well. Okay, now we also created a method for the storing a token. Let's create a method to getting a token as well. Get token, it will be just return a string or a future string get token, and it will going to return a await storage dot write. Instead of write, we will going to use the read. We need to provide the key like this, and yeah, question mark. And why we are getting this error? I guess we have to use the key as well. Yeah, sorry, we are doing a lot of thing, but I'm not explaining and using anything here. We just created all the methods over here, and this all the thing will be required, okay, in the next video. So in the next video we will going to connect this login bottom sheet with the REST API which we just created in the last video, okay. And I will explain everything why we just created this post method, build URL, store token and get token. Everything I will explain in the next coming videos, okay. So please don't forget to subscribe the channel, like the video, and just be here for the next video. Then you will get a clear picture about everything, okay. So we done with the setup. Let's connect the front end with the back end via the REST API endpoint.